Have you ever listened to a beautiful, complex piece of music and tried to play it on a piano, only to find that even though you are pressing the exact same keys, it just doesn't sound right? The notes are technically correct, but the soul of the music is missing. The rhythm is stiff, the emotion is flat. When we learn English, we spend years memorizing the notes, the grammar rules, the vocabulary lists, the verb tenses. But when we finally open our mouths to speak, we realize we don't know how to play the music. We sound like textbooks, not human beings. Welcome back to Lucky English for Beginners. Today we are not just reading notes on a page. We are going to learn how to play the music. We are going to uncover the exact techniques you need to soften your edges, find your rhythm, and sound not just fluent, but naturally and effortlessly native. Part 1: The illusion of the perfect accent. The biggest mistake learners make is thinking they need to erase their native accent completely. They watch Hollywood movies and try to copy a perfect California drawl or a sharp London clip. But sounding native is not about erasing where you come from, it is about mastering intonation and stress. Native speakers do not give every word in a sentence the same amount of energy. They emphasize the important words, the nouns and verbs, and swallow the small words, the prepositions and articles. If you say, "I want to go to the store," emphasizing the bold words, you will sound infinitely more natural than someone who perfectly pronounces every single syllable with a flat, robotic tone. Part 2: The magic of connected speech. If you look at written English, there are clear, neat spaces between every word, but when native speakers talk, they completely ignore those spaces. The end of one word crashes right into the beginning of the next. This is called connected speech. What are you going to do becomes what you gonna do. I have got to go becomes I gotta go. An apple sounds like an apple. To sound native, you have to stop treating words like isolated islands. Let them melt together. Let the final consonant of one word slide directly into the starting vowel of the next. Part 3: The 5-day shadowing crucible. You cannot learn the physical rhythm of connected speech just by reading about it. You have to train your mouth, your tongue, and your lungs to move in a completely new way. This is why committing to a 5-day English shadowing challenge is the most effective shortcut in existence. When you listen to a native speaker and immediately echo their exact words a fraction of a second later, you bypass your logical brain. You aren't analyzing the grammar, you are simply mimicking the music. Over those 5 days, your vocal cords learn what it physically feels like to speak with native phrasing. You build the muscle memory required to glide through sentences instead of chopping them up. Part 4: Leveraging modern audio tools. We live in a golden age of technology, and you can use it to build your internal English rhythm. If you have a speech or a presentation you need to give, don't just guess how it should sound. Use high-quality text-to-speech technologies or voice cloning tools to generate an audio track of your exact script. Listen to how the AI model naturally links the words, where it pauses for breath, and which syllables it emphasizes. Use that perfect, generated audio as your benchmark, and practice reading your script alongside it until your rhythm matches perfectly. Part 5: The 500 Idioms Arsenal. You can have flawless pronunciation, but if you only use formal, dictionary-perfect phrases, you will always sound like a foreigner. Native speakers rely heavily on cultural shorthand. Imagine dedicating yourself to a massive project, mastering a curated curriculum of 500 English idioms. When someone asks how you are doing, and instead of saying "I am very healthy," you say "I'm fit as a fiddle," the entire dynamic of the conversation shifts. You are instantly recognized as an insider. Idioms and phrasal verbs are the secret passwords of the English language. Part 6: The podcast host mindset. When we try to sound native, we often get very tense. We over-enunciate, stiffen our shoulders, and panic about our grammar, but native speakers are relaxed. Change your psychological approach. Imagine you are the warm, welcoming host of your own audio show. Picture yourself leading an episode of Sania's English podcast. A great host isn't worried about hitting every consonant perfectly. Their goal is to make the listener feel comfortable, keep the conversation flowing, and project warmth. When you adopt the relaxed, conversational tone of a podcast host, your voice drops into a deeper, more natural register. Part 7: The 30-day immersion habit. Your brain defaults to the rhythm of your mother tongue because it is a deeply ingrained habit. You cannot overwrite a lifetime of habit with a once-a-week study session. You need sustained momentum. Designing a 30-day English learning challenge for yourself is how you create that momentum. For 30 straight days, force your environment to be English. Listen to native speakers while you cook, shadow them while you drive, and learn a new idiom every morning. By day 30, your brain stops fighting the new rhythm and starts surrendering to it. Part 8: The Power of the Filler Word. It sounds counterintuitive, but learning how to hesitate correctly makes you sound incredibly native. When a non-native speaker forgets a word, they often stop completely and leave a dead, awkward silence. When a native speaker forgets a word, they use a filler. They say, well, or you know, or I mean, while their brain searches for the right vocabulary. Sprinkling these natural fillers into your speech buys you processing time and keeps the conversation flowing smoothly. Part 9: Your Final Masterpiece. My lucky learners, sounding like a native speaker is not about achieving flawless, robotic perfection. It is about flow, connection, and embracing the messy, beautiful reality of how people actually talk. Every time you link two words together, every time you use an idiom, and every time you choose flow over perfection, you are playing the music. Keep practicing, keep improving, and keep being lucky. I will be right here, waiting to walk the next mile of this beautiful mystery with you. Bye for now.